All right, so it started recording.
Okay, thank you, Doc.
Okay, that's all right. So good evening, everybody. We said
Good evening, sir.
yep,
Good evening, Dog.
great. Hey,
Fifi, you are welcome.
about Fifi is already here, or he hasn't been.
You just landed.
He landed with Rhoda.
I've landed, so I'm announcing my presence.
Okay, Rhoda. Hello. Okay. So we left it what? How many weeks? 1 week or 2 weeks?
1.
1 week. Okay. Means that after this, then there is a last session that we're done, right? Okay. Now, how many of us can tell us, or who can tell us what database marketing is? Database. Who can explain to us what database marketing is? I'm listening now.
Doc.
Yes.
Okay, what I know about database is having like a list or contacts or how to reach a certain number of people, like having their as you see, like probably contact. So database marketing isn't it like marketing or marketing to some people that you have their contacts,
Yeah.
sort of.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, usually you build, just as the name suggests, you build contact, for people, for customers. And contact here means emails, telephone numbers, in the past, postal numbers, all right? Like PO boxes, all these things. And then you use that as a channel for reaching people. All right. Now, the idea is that with database marketing, it's much more direct, it's personal. All right. That you are able to reach the person directly. Now, it's efficient because you know who you're selling to. You know the categorization or the characteristics of the people you're selling to. And so you're able to actually speak their language, isn't it? All right. So
Yes, sir.
yeah, so you find a way of building a certain database that you use as the channel to reach people. Unlike selling through the mass media, if you have to use a broadcast, let's say TV advertising, a person directly, you are speaking to them generally, okay? But with database, you're able to get to people directly, address them directly, all right? So you've got to actually build a certain system, a certain on which you can. So we're saying that with database marketing, you have I think you can see the screen, right?
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Okay. So
But there's some feedback.
yeah, someone's
mic has been left on.
okay. So when you're actually doing database marketing, you're identifying customers. So you see your database here, and then you're building relationships. Obviously, when it comes to customer identification, all right, identifying customers, what are we doing? How do you go about to identify customers? Or when we say identifying customers per se, what do we mean? Yeah? What are some of the ways that we can use to do customer identification?
Look, I think it's through research, some sort of research, looking at the way customers behave. their taste and all that. If they are using your product, what kind of products they are interested in,
Fantastic.
or you
Fantastic.
look at what they have been buying for a period of time,
Yeah.
and then you build a core data around that. So
Excellent.
you can use it.
Excellent. That's a good idea, Emmanuel. So usually database marketing is much more fit or appropriate when you have maybe dealt with the customers over a period, isn't it? People that you are already in touch with. So you are able to identify them or categorize them in a particular manner. Yeah. So you have 6 customers who actually buy monthly. All right. You have, let's say, 85 customers who are actually weekly purchases. All right. You have 120 of them who buy a certain brand. Do you get it? So you are using these characteristics to sort of group or to categorize the customers. All right. In order that you can do the second bit, which is building relationships. Do you get it? So the first bit is about categorizing and identifying customers with a certain characteristics. All right. So you're grouping them. And then the second one, once you have actually done with those groupings, you know what they buy, how they buy, who they buy for, etc., or what they buy. And based on that, you can actually build or design certain relationship approaches to manage them. Are you with me? Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah,
So we're looking at essentially how do you actually, build a database infrastructure that could actually help you to manage that customer set, right? Okay. So the 11.2, the figure 11.2 that you see there, it says you're building a database warehouse, database coding and analysis, data mining, data-driven marketing communications, data-driven marketing programs. All right. Now, I need someone to either explain to us all these or to take one of them, and then we'll come. Let's do it in the rank order. So, who would take building a database, a data warehouse? Who can explain that? Building a data warehouse. Up, please. When we're saying building a data warehouse, who can explain that to us? Yeah? Hello?
Well,
Yeah, the class is
Hi.
fine.
please, can I try with my layman's mind?
Yeah, I mean, we all have these in our workplaces, so it's not lay person at all. Start, let's see. Yeah,
So with the idea of warehouse,
yeah,
warehouse is supposed to be a place where you store various items.
that's correct.
So relating it to um, data warehouse,
Mm-hmm.
meaning that different data on customers, or the various data put in a particular place or
Yeah,
a
that's
particular file
yeah. So explain
folder,
what are
an area
these data?
anytime you need.
Yeah. So what are the variables you need in a database?
Name,
Yeah.
uh, sex,
Mm-hmm.
age. Is it demography or
Mm-hmm.
something? Uh, Customer preference.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
I'm just guessing all that.
Okay. That no, you're right. So when you see when you go to shop or when you're buying from a place, sometimes online especially, they ask you to fill in your details.
Okay.
And
Yes.
the field that they usually ask you is your surname first, your first name. All right. After you've entered your first name, your surname, and your first name, that's the first field. The next field they ask you is perhaps your address. Yeah.
Yes.
So
Mm.
you fill in your address. Sometimes they ask you your date of birth, but sometimes they say that's optional. All right. But in some critical instances, they would ask you your date of birth. All right. Depending on the type
Mm.
of services, or if it's a banking services, they will certainly ask you your date of birth. All right. Because it's one of the identities. If it's a normal product that do not need to hold your data files, they may ask you that is optional. All right. Now,
Yeah.
the next thing that they ask you for is, possibly, for example, if it's a banking services, they'll ask you for your next of kin. Yeah.
Mm.
If it's not, some of the most, critical of some of these services, they may not ask you. So you see that the data field that you are filling in, all right, that they ask you, that's the processes of they using it to build a data warehouse. All right. So you have
Mm.
demographic features, and then it comes to what you buy or what you're about to buy. Oh, so and then how many times you buy or what date you buy certain things. All right. So they will build a profile on you first, and then they will come to the kind of thing that you like buying. All right. Maybe you select oranges and apples and whatever. So they keep these information about you. All right, including your gender, all that we just mentioned. Right. Now, by so doing, they could actually retrieve all customers that are male. Of course, they will have to take
Mm.
your contact numbers, right? So your telephone number, your email address. If you have a social media, some of them will ask you for a social media. You have your PO box. You put your PO box. All right. Now, so imagine that you put your house address, Adenta. Yeah. Now, if, for example, this company is doing offers for, let's say, delivery offers for people who live in a particular within a particular radius, all right, they can actually put a data field there and say A and M, which is Adenta and Medina. All those people who live around that area, you know, they can query the system, and the system will pull all those people out. Then they can actually put these sample of people into, let's say, an email, what do you call, like uh, Mailchimp, an email system or an email server, and actually send emails to all these people who live in Adenta and Medina. All right, that there is an offer of free delivery if you live within this enclave. Are you following?
Mm. Yes.
Now,
Sir.
this is database marketing, because the system is able to use a data that is being stored for the customers and use it in a way that they can prescribe certain solutions. They can actually sell a certain, packages as a result of what the data that they have on them. They can actually say that we're looking for all customers who are ages between 18 and 25. And once they enter those fields, the system actually, pull out all those customers, and then they can advance a certain product or offer to these people. Are you with me?
Yes. Sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is what we mean by database marketing. The idea that you can actually use certain descriptions or certain what do you call characteristics of people, and in order for you to in order for you to speak directly to their needs, right, without necessarily having a wholesale or what do you call catch all kind of proposition for all of them. You're actually doing database marketing. So with the building of a database, you're actually setting up a certain framework, demographics, people's, what you call product choices or their product needs, their, period of, buying or their consumer behavior, characteristics. Fill it in the database that you can actually query from time to time for an action. All right. Okay. So we know that building a database is purely a data warehouse is purely, just taking people's, demographics and their buyer behavior and entering them into, a warehouse or into a server to create, that particular record for them. That's what we're talking about, data warehouse. All right. Now, what do we mean by the coding and the analysis? What do we mean by the coding? Yeah? Oh, Charlie,
Talk,
today you guys are not pumping up crowd. Yeah?
talk. Me, I want to try because of the way the place is quiet. So me, I'm just trying.
Okay, right.
That's right.
Yeah, I want to try. So, with a little knowledge on coding from Dr. Rabiu,
Mm-hmm.
I would say that database coding and analysis, maybe identifying each database
Mm-hmm.
and then interpreting them.
Yeah.
Basically, that's how I put my mind to it.
Yeah, you're right.
From the point of view.
Finish it. You're right. Yeah? Go on.
Doc, please, I've talked.
Okay. All right. Who else wants to continue?
So let me also give it a try.
Yeah, Ellen.
Okay, just as she said, maybe after you go into the warehouse, then maybe you pick the data of your customers, maybe coding all women to one or two, or male one or two, maybe what they buy.
Yeah.
If maybe all ladies buy dresses, maybe ladies buy dresses bag,
Yeah.
dresses maybe one bag two,
Yeah.
other items three.
Yeah.
Then maybe you group them. Maybe youth buy these kind of things.
Yeah.
The adults buy these kind of things, and then maybe you analyze it.
Yeah.
The number of times they buy it,
Right. Yeah.
their income, and what they buy, and other thing. That's what I.
Exactly. That's
Also,
just like you and Anas and yourself have explained. That's what we mean by coding. Coding is just about putting a description on a set of attributes or a set of characteristics. All right. So you know that you've entered all males, all right, and you entered all females, all right. But at some point you may have to split them again, all right, for a certain operation. So you want to say that all males, between certain age brackets, so between age 18 to 25, all right, you want to call them as millennials, yeah? So you put them in one container called millennials, that is age 18 to 25. So in your data set, in your data warehouse, whenever you query the data warehouse and say millennials, the system pulls everyone who is in that container between the ages of 18 to 25. Yeah. Now you come to another ages 26 to 42 or 43, and then you give them another code name. All right. Let's say, early years or another whatever. Maybe you call them golden age. Yeah. You call them golden age. So you know that you have two codes now. You have millennials described as 18 to 25. You have golden age described as 26 to 42. Yeah? And then you have another code, another code. Now, this coding that you do would make it easier for you to drill down. So you have a higher or upper level description for the data, all right? All mails, whatever. But you also code a granular level, all right? So you can have a 3-stage data warehouse where each of them have names, all right? In order that it makes it easier for you to retrieve and for you to take an action on them. Do you get it? So just like you guys have explained. So now, when you want to do the analysis, you want to compare age millennials and age, golden age, to look at their sales capacity or their sales figures. You can just pull them together, and then you see the summation of the two. Maybe millennials have bought maybe 100 Ghana cedis in the past week, and then golden age have bought, let's say, 200 Ghana cedis in the past week. Now, it makes it easier for you to actually compare certain characteristics of what do you call customers, and then make a decision out of it. Are you with me?
Yes, Doc.
Okay. All right. Any questions or contribution on this one? Who has
Doc,
experience on that? Yeah, Israel.
yeah, Doc, please, I wanted to ask a question. The difference between data marketing and spamming.
Data what?
Data marketing and spam.
Is it
Spamming.
data
I'm database
database
marketing
marketing
and spam. Yeah.
and what?
Spamming.
Spam, as in
Yes,
the spam that you send to everybody by
yes, Doc.
email. I mean,
Yes.
spamming is a part of a database marketing, because obviously in spamming, obviously most of the time it's email, right? But they see the difference is that with spamming, they may not necessarily have a categories. All right, they have generated emails, and one thing is about spamming is that they may not even know the individual, right? Because they mine emails, they mine contacts. So through some mails, you can actually generate contacts for a lot of people without necessarily having any other data on them, right? And then just sending them one bulk information. That's spamming. But this one, you hold significant number of data on them, not only their contact numbers, but their names, their gender, the other descriptives. That makes it easier for you to be able to identify them. Do you get it? You understand? Israel.
Doc, I follow.
Doc,
Yeah.
get the explanation well.
Right. Who else?
No.
Yeah? Who else has another question? Yeah? Any question? Okay. Now let's move on to mining. Data mining. Who can describe data mining?
Okay.
Yeah?
Oh, Doc, I mean, is data mining can be said to be the scouting and inputting of data into your data warehouse?
No, actual.
The mining is not the inputting, but it's drilling. Drilling of
Looking for data and inputting it.
sorry?
Looking, gathering, and inputting.
Not the inputting, but the mining is about getting it. I mean, gathering the data. Do you get
Yeah, so I said looking for, gathering, and inputting.
When you say inputting, what do you mean?
Yes,
So you
it's
look for the data, you gather it, and then you input it into your data warehouse.
but the
Into
input
your
can
data.
be
Yeah. Now, usually mining is you rather, sifting the data, gathering the data. That's mining.
Okay.
All right. So you can actually mine the sales data, for example, the sales data. All right. Or you can mine, let's say, the customer inquiries data. Yeah. So you see that, the book that people sign in when you go to companies. When you visit places, they give you a book to sign in.
Visitor's notebook.
Yes, sir.
And a visitor's notebook. All right. Now,
Yes, sir.
a lot of companies don't use it, but it's one of the resources that you probably can use for data mining, of course. All right. Let's say that over the past years, people have come into your company. They're asking for this person. They are meeting this person. They are meeting that person. You're meeting that person. Now, what do you think are some of the information that mining that data you can get?
Doc, please, your question is
Telephone numbers,
Telephone numbers. Yes, that's
email addresses,
email addresses. That's a good one. What else?
as well as the organizations.
Sorry?
Their organizations, where they're coming from.
Coming from, yes. What else?
marital status.
Well, does it ask you you are married or not? What else can you get beyond these contacts?
And who they have been coming to?
Excellent. And then what else?
What of the purpose of
I
Whether
think
it's official or non-official.
Exactly. Which means that
I think their names too.
yeah. Which means
that one has been mentioned.
that per that visitor's book, you could perhaps know who in the company is the most sought after, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, that's assuming that you want to check productivity of your staff. Can you find a relationship here?
Yes.
What are some of the relationships that you can create? You can find here.
How many times you have visitors, unofficial visitors?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can possibly trace, how many times Salome has been visited by people in a year, and perhaps check whether that visitation has impact on her productivity, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can check what reasons do people normally come into the business for. If you realize that the informal and personal reasons are a lot, you can perhaps create a relationship between that and the low productivity that your staff are having, isn't it?
Yeah.
Exactly. So we do data mining in order that we can actually strike certain relationships, all right, and then take an action. Who is talking about Kenke? Jerry? Is it Jerry?
I'm sorry, sir.
It's not you talking about Kenke.
It's not me. It's a colleague, sir. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's just that I'm a young corner of Kenke.
There's a fancy king giving you a pede.
Hey, even when they
Papa J.
Papa J that too.
corporate people, they too rough. Okay, so you see, we can in database marketing, all right, you can actually mine the data, of your company in order that you can take certain actions. So let's say that, for example, about your Facebook page, all right, that you want to mine. What are some of the things that you can find there? Yeah.
Those on Facebook.
Yeah, you can use your company as an example. Let's look at data mining at your place.
Yeah, doc. My place, for example.
Yeah.
This is Emmanuel. We normally look at the comments,
Mm-hmm.
the number of comments, the enquiries, the complaints,
Mm-hmm.
because we resolve a lot of faults through that.
Mm-hmm.
So the likes, we also generate content for educational purposes. So we look at the number of likes, the number of, maybe if we tweet or if we post, the number of repostings
Mm-hmm.
and the number of likes, and let's say we are okay. Maybe the negative comment and the positive comment that we had. We
Mm-hmm.
group all of them and then we take action
Mm-hmm.
after that, whether we are doing well or we are not doing well.
Mm-hmm.
We strategize.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Excellent.
That yeah,
Yeah.
that's basically what we
But you didn't tell us specifically what you're looking at. You're looking for.
okay, it's like we're talking about Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
We have a target. The target is to reach as many customers as possible
Mm-hmm.
within the month in terms of resolving their complaints,
Yeah.
interacting with them. So in the interactive bit, we have these gifts on the website
Mm-hmm.
that we use to educate them. We have announcements that we post in case we have any outages.
Mm-hmm.
We post them there. But when we are looking at customer data mining,
Mm-hmm.
we look at the number of customers who visit our page, the request, and other. We also have a leave a contact or contact us
Mm-hmm.
on the page.
Mm-hmm.
So we usually get these kind of
Okay.
customer information from the page.
Okay. Which means that you can actually mine your Facebook to categorize the kind of complaint that come in, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what we do. We do that.
So you can actually put the complaint in a different containers. Maybe
Yes,
complaints about a lack of service, complaints about staff attitude, complaints about
yes,
so you can categorize it. You can mine the data and know what kind of complaint usually do you get. All right. Take steps
yes,
to actually mitigate those complaints. You can also,
yes,
mine and know where from the geographical spaces are the complaints coming from most, isn't it?
yes, sir.
In order that you can actually take steps. So the data mining actually helps you to, understand this, have a 360-degree, outlook of events, of activities, and of kind of people, as in the parties involved, that actually, come into contact with the organization. Yeah. And
Yes, sir.
that is why data mining is crucial in database marketing, because once you're able to categorize and you're able to identify the issues and categorize them, you are better able to what? Prefer action plans, you know, for these data, isn't it? Yeah. Who else can actually give us examples at their workplace?
Sir,
Yeah.
please, I want to ask a question before we go on.
Yeah.
So it means data mining is about the company seeking what the customers think about them or the way they see the company and their activities, and not about the company seeking information about the customer.
Now, you can mine data, all right, in many forms. If depending on what data source you're looking at, yeah, you can mine data on the company's activities itself. So on the company's activity, which is the company based mining, you have data records. I mean, you have data on, let's say, HR data, all right, HR data. And that HR data, you're looking at how many people who phone in sick. Yeah. You're looking at people phoning in sick, people logging in, OOL or whatever. Do you get it? Now, at the end of the year, that particular data source, which is the HR data, could actually give you an idea who, and let's take the HR data to be your company's leave systems. You know, these days most of the leave systems are digital, isn't it? They're online. Am I right? Or you have no clue what I'm talking about?
No, Doc, we do. That's correct.
Yeah, but why are you guys quiet?
Doc, ask him when you are going on leave and so on.
Yeah, your HR
Yeah.
systems are digital, isn't it? These days.
The corporate people talk. The corporate people.
Yeah. Sometimes you guys
They have been digitized.
yeah, you make it
My leave is not manual one.
yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Those days it used to be you take a paper, you fill the form and
Right.
you submit. These days most companies have an intranet system where you go, you click, you put your staff number or your staff ID. The system, in fact, the system even tells you how many days you have as leave, isn't it?
Yeah.
It gives you the date fields. You share them where you want your leave, and then if those places are available, the systems allows you to book it, isn't it?
Yeah.
So let's say that HR system is your data source. Now you can mine that source. All right. Imagine that the company it's a heavy company, it's a big company with branches all over Accra, Kumasi, Accra, nationwide, and perhaps maybe external too. Now, if we say data mining, it depends on the source, and the source will tell you what kind of data. Certainly, with that HR data, you cannot go and get customers' data from there, isn't it? Can you say you are mining customers' data from there? It's only
No,
the
Doc.
staff data. So with that system, for example, that intranet system, you can actually mine data and see which of the branches, take leave the most in March. Yeah, maybe your Takrado branch or your Western Region branch. Most of the time, normally people take leave in March or people take leave in April. Then you can ask yourself, why do people take leave in March most of the time in the Accra branch? All right. Maybe there's a peculiar festival that people like to go. Do you get it? So I'm trying to say that when we talk about data mining, the purpose and then the results of the data mining depends on the data source that you are mining. All right. Because you cannot go and mine employee data from your Facebook where you know that the engagement is more of the company and the customers, unless of course you have your Facebook as the source where employees have to engage with the company in terms of maybe their queries, etc. But of course I haven't seen any company who actually engages with its staff just on Facebook. You may have a HR system, yeah, and then the Facebook becomes more customer driven or outward kind of system. Ellen, are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Do you
I'm here with you, yes, sir.
Okay. So the kind of data that you get from your data mining and the kind of purpose depends on your source of data that you're using for the mining. Okay. Now let's move to the next one, data-driven marketing communication. What does that mean? What does that mean? Pump up.
So does it mean that your marketing is based on the data you have?
That's right. So be specific.
So if you have data on particular group of people, it helps you to be able to direct your marketing towards them according to their need or preference or something like that.
Use your company to cite an example. It makes it easy. Use your company.
So, my company, we don't do marketing.
Yeah, you do marketing communication.
Okay, but so if we are looking at
you do communication.
Schools,
Parliament, they do marketing.
Parliament. We are looking at, let's say, some universities coming to visit Parliament. and we have data on them. Dog, give up. I've given up.
Why should you give up? Yes, I'm listening to
Look,
anyone. Yeah.
look, I
Anybody?
wanted to try.
Okay.
Okay,
Fine.
Doc.
Yeah.
I am thinking about looking at the data that you have compiled so far,
Mm-hmm.
and then you are able to predict the needs of your customers.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say for my company, we are into new service connection.
Mm-hmm.
The data that we have so far, we realize that most of our customers pay for service connection
Mm-hmm.
over 1 month, 2 months, they don't have meter.
Yeah.
So how do we solve that? We can import more meters, and then we are able to ensure that we get the meters to the various destinations, so that by the time they get there, they will get the meters and will be running in our business.
Mm-hmm. Good.
That's what I'm thinking
Okay.
about.
So for example, you have seen a lot of complaints about these
Yes,
meters that you're talking about. All right.
yes,
Now,
yes,
based on which you have taken an action for ordering more of these meters.
yes, Doc.
One of your marketing communication could be that you send emails across to your customer and say, over the past year, we've realized most of you have been in need of new connections, and we have had, what do you call these out of market so and so. Well, good news is it will be you'll be or you appreciate to know that we have ordered new so and so, and we hope to alleviate the headache of our customers. Something like that. All right.
Yeah,
So
Doc. I forgot this actually.
yeah.
On the this one is very real. We
Yeah.
had a 1 day service that was active,
Mm-hmm.
I think in 2014, but we went down on it due to some constraints. But like you said, if we are to reactivate something like that, we can use the 1 day service
Mm-hmm.
communication, the 1 day service provision communication, where you pay for your meter
Yeah,
service, and then within 24 hours you are connected.
that's correct.
We did it in Achimota district.
Mm-hmm.
I think Tema also, in about 2 districts, and we were successful. So
Excellent.
like we are using customer data mining like this, we can
That's right.
improve on our service. Yes.
Yeah. Now let's even discuss the parliament for Anas. All right.
Yeah.
Assuming that you get so many requests, all right, from schools wanting to
Okay.
visit, to parliament in June, all right.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
whenever they send a letter, you write back and say, "Oh, June parliament will not be sitting in June. Parliament is on recess in June." Whenever they write
Okay.
you or want to visit in June, you write back, Parliament is on recess in June. Now,
Okay.
predominantly, people send letters they want to visit in June, meanwhile, Parliament is on recess. So what do? You realize that you can now be, customer centric by pushing communication into daily graphic or into all schools and say, please be reminded that Parliament is on recess in June to July. If you want to
Okay.
visit Parliament, come to Parliament between this and this period, isn't it? So you have been proactive, and that's what we call data-driven marketing communication. So the communication that you are giving, the information that you are giving to the customers are based on what you have gathered over the years as predominantly, customer query. That's why if you look at, the government communication about flooding, all right, usually within certain months, they start communicating to some areas that there will be, there is a white water or whatever, there will be white water, going beyond its banks because there will be spillages from Burkina Faso. All right. So
Yes.
the communication is proactive based on the occurrences over the period. Do you get it? So you are using the request coming from time to time, stipulating a certain period for parliamentary visit as the basis to drive. So now, whenever the year begins, you are proactive by sending letters to schools or sending general communication in daily graphic and to say that Parliament, for those schools who would like to visit Parliament, please be reminded that Parliament will not be sitting between the months of so and so. If you want to visit Parliament, do between the period of so and so. Do you get it? That you're doing data-driven, marketing communication. All right.
Okay.
Okay. Good one.
So, Doc.
Yeah.
How about let's say MP and constituents
relationship? Okay. So, for example, you have MPs that they observe that whenever school is about to open, they experience a lot of calls from their constituents. And when those calls come in, majority of which are, oh, my son is about to go to university. My son is about to go to university. Or it's the daughters who are calling, oh, I'm about to go to university. I'm about to go to university. Now, having observed that between the months of July, August, September, there's an influx of calls to MPs, about children going to universities. And then those influx of calls are actually even talking about when do you think the schools are reopening? Or they're talking about processes of registration, accommodation registration, so and so. Predominantly, you've seen that. Now, by gathering that information, what then the MPs does, what the MP does, is that you now go and check the universities' calendars across the nation, their registration procedures for accommodation and for courses, and all this, and then start organizing what we call surgeries, right? MP surgeries in their communities. So by June, the MP has started organizing surgeries in their communities to advise parents on university registrations, accommodation registration, course registration. You're doing data driven. Because predominantly you've seen that around this time of the year, this is the kind of calls I get. This is the kind of queries I get. He now starts using his Facebook page to address the issue. For those of you who are about to enter university within this period, this is the following information for you. By the time you do that, you realize that the calls coming in are reducing. Do you get it?
Yeah.
So you are being data driven.
Okay.
Is it clear for you?
Yes, Doc.
Excellent.
Very.
Okay. Who else? What questions do you have?
Doc, so let's say pastor congregation relationship.
Yeah.
Regarding data-driven marketing, pastor congregation relationship. How about that?
Okay. So pastor congregation relationship.
An example.
Say it again.
An example.
Yeah.
An example when it comes to, let's say, pastor and congregants relationship, something like that. Or that one, it doesn't work. It won't work in that area.
It works as well. So, for example, you have. Okay, so for example, you have.
Your figures are not adding up.
You have.
I'm saying your figures are not adding up. Look at Kojo and Patrick Saint-Tim. The figures are not adding up.
Jerry,
you see,
okay,
you gave me. Listen, The figures you gave for channel.
Hey,
Somebody tell Jerry to.
I'm
Papa
calling.
Fifi,
Somebody should tell Papa J.
Kojo.
it's Fifi who is good at that. Fifi, over to you.
Kojo, what else you saying? You gave
I'm
us
calling you, but he's not picking up. Yeah,
you gave us
Can make an email and maybe
Let me
go.
see if I can lock him in. I think I have. Yeah.
Papa J is still selling ice cream.
Hey, Anas.
Okay, so let's go on. So Anna's question, all right. Now, let's say that you have, I mean, the same example that I gave about the MP, all right. Let's say that the same thing that the church faces,
hello,
right?
hello, yeah.
Like
Good
when
evening, I think.
people, the children are about to go to school,
I want to say anything.
they are calling the pastor, all right. They are going to the elders and they are presenting the same.
Thank you, right.
The church can now invite, academic certain authorities
Hello.
to come and speak to.
Yes, I'm here.
Come and speak to the congregation.
Yeah.
You see figures now. We have Patrick Saint
Can we tell
we can say when you're my 165.83.
Okay, so we can actually organize certain officials to the church, speak to the church members about school reopening, school registration, etc. Isn't it?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So similar stuff. Once the church has to have a database or a way of recording what issues come to the church elders or the pastor frequently, and within what period, and by which category of people. Do you get it? If you have men, all right, complaining to pastor that getting to December, they face abuse from their wives, demanding unnecessary money and all that.
So you can say demanding necessary money.
Getting to December, women, they make unnecessary requests.
So it is necessary.
And they put pressure. And they put
pressure. They meant to make unnecessary requests. So it might not be money, but they make unnecessary requests.
Anas, this is not up for debate. This is not up for debate, Anas.
Anas, bro, your idea so you be complain.
I
Eh?
When you got the right price you collected, you don't want to do.
All kinds of Google and all that. You don't say.
Hey, now
This one will be Christmas present.
I see.
For no complaint. You see, so assuming that the pastor gets a lot of these complaints around that time, immediately get into November, pastor starts organizing sessions, right? On cooperation, on ways to reduce tension at home, etc. The pastor is responding to the queries over time that they've gotten, and is packaging a communication to mitigate that. You get it? It's always about recording what in
Tony,
making sure that those issues are used in preparing the communication, for that particular category of people. You get it?
Doc. What of say probably same church situations where probably as a pastor maybe I've realized that anytime it gets to the the start of a new month, when I preach about tithes, the tithe increases. So I wait around that time. I preach about tithes. Isn't it?
It is one of them.
Yeah, because I've seen that.
Data driven. Yeah, it's a data driven. You see. In fact, let me tell you something. In England, just a minute, Frank.
Yeah, I'm done.
Have you closed?
Yes, I'm in the house.
Oh, already?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. I was telling you that I was going to tell you that when you close, wait for me. I'm in the office.
Okay.
All right. I'm having class, so when I'm done.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. So the point is that there is this, financial houses in England. They're normally called, I think loan sharks. All right. Loan sharks are mostly some small businesses that actually give money to people, short loans to people, right? So you can contact loan sharks. They give you maybe £1,000 or £500 or £200, quick money, but they would check with you, when do you receive your pay? Yeah. When do you receive your wages? So if your wages come on the 15th, all right, or your wages come on the 20th. And now, once you go for loan sharks loan and you pay, and then you are paid every 15th, right? In fact, from 5th or from 10th of the month, they start sending you text messages. You know, in fact, or they will even gauge and know, maybe when they pay you 15th, all right?
Yes.
By 28th, you chop the money finished. By 28th, you go to loan sharks, and then you go for loan. Then they track your behavior over time. Now, be sure that from 25th, they will start send you text messages, baiting you to come for loan. Because they realize the pattern that you, by 28th, your money finished. All right. So they will always be sending text messages right from 25th, asking you to come for loan. When you go for the loan, they know that you are paid on the 15th, isn't it? So by 10th, they start sending you messages asking for their money. And you are sure that by 15th, they are on your gate, knocking and taking their money if you don't pay. So just like what Bismarck was saying, you target the behavior, the consumer behavior, the times when they need something, the time when they go for something. And if it's a church and you know that by the end of every month, especially when you preach about tithe and things, the tithe goes up. Certainly you can't preach the same message every month, all right? But by all means, you have to find a way of bringing in tithe message, so that people will actually, So you find that if you follow I don't go to church, but I know that if you follow certain pastors, you realize that some pastors will be preaching a particular message at a particular period because they are anchoring on something. Yeah, they are targeting your pocket. So by all
so something like
I have a personal observation about getting to the end of the year.
Yeah.
Churches, I'm in an Orthodox church.
Yeah.
So we usually organize our annual harvest in December, between November and December.
Yeah.
And around that time, all the activities and the revivals will be based on giving, teachings about giving.
Yeah.
So that's a typical example.
Yeah, that's a typical example of data driven. Okay.
But Doc, I wonder why around December the pastors don't preach to the men to watch themselves against the side chicks that will come and take all the money from their pockets.
But the point is that if the pastors should be hitting the men, some of them may not be coming to church. They lose.
You see,
because if you have to be hard on them, they may not be coming to church getting to December. December is cocoa season.
If they give it to the side chicks, to the number of the congregation to reduce.
But the point is that the side chicks, they are the ones who even pay more money at church.
Hey, Doc, you know the thing.
You see, because the side chicks, they have objectives, right? They have to dance properly for people to see them.
Hey.
And they want to use the collection time to do all the boogieing and to show all the, the goodies. Then,
Our room.
our room.
The good thing is their side chicks even give testimony more, so they pay more.
Hey,
Hey, Tony.
Doc, this your data is bringing things out too.
Which
This
one?
your data has carried a lot of things.
Yeah, but it's true. The side chicks, they pay. They pay money. Fortunately for them, they get it from different sources.
Yes.
Yeah, because Mrs. may be getting only one source.
Look, they do money mining instead of data mining. They sift it. Almost on the floor, and I just say, "Oh, maybe best one."
See,
Doc, you know something? Dr. Sandro says that if you don't know she catches you, you will not even stay. You can't stay in your house.
she catches you when.
If you don't know, you bring yourself as a side chick to a husband. You are finished.
But how will she know anyway?
Oh.
The thing is side chick.
You do data mining. You survey the phone interest. That is why your phone is not safe.
And some side chicks are very smart, very very smart.
But it really gives me a deeper understanding of the data driven. Seriously, I appreciate it.
Controversial.
During examination, I have a lot of examples for exams. So
Side chick.
I'm building a data warehouse.
Yeah.
Why don't you go to church?
Data driven must come in the exams.
You mean me, myself?
Yeah.
Why don't I go to church?
Yes.
Well, I actually, believe that I can pray more and then do more at home.
And why do you pay your offering and your tithe?
No, there's nothing in the Bible that I have to pay offering.
Your Bible.
Yeah, there's nothing in the Bible that says that you have to pay offering and tithe, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But there is something that says don't neglect the fellowship.
Yeah. So you have to fellowship with God, not with people. I mean,
your body is the temple of the Lord, not the church.
Yeah, you don't.
You are not right. The data warehouse will not take your information.
Then, no, we'll do database coding here.
Easy.
Code you as part of the non-church members.
There will be a particular code for Doc.
Yes.
That's a good one. Okay, let's. So, building a data warehouse, all right. So we have operational database and marketing database. So, customer transactions follows accounting rules, all right. So, as we explained, when you're building the data warehouse, you are taking the profile of the customer transaction, all right. How many do they buy? When they bought, etc. How much is their sales? Do you get it? So at the operational level, you're taking information about the transactions, all right? And it says that it follows accounting rules. So you're looking at their credit and debit kind of thing, all right? Those who are actually in credit, those who are actually in the debit side, those who perhaps have a credit facility with a company, etc. At the marketing database, you're looking at current customer information, and in terms of current customer information, obviously you're looking at their names, their addresses, and whenever customer changes address, they update it, right? Which means that from time to time you have to go back to the customer and check, or whenever customer come into contact with the business, you want to check with them whether their address are still correct, all right, are still valid. Do you get it?
Yes.
So you see the difference between the operational database and the marketing database. Marketing database is more of their demographics plus the other data, which the operational database is mainly their transactional data, right? So customer current information, former customer information, and prospective customer information, all right? Now, former customer information, which means that even when customers move or they change address, you don't delete the old one, all right? But you rather create a new entry. The old one is there. Why? Why? Why is it that you are still keeping the former customer information?
But please, a question again.
You see that under the marketing database,
Yes.
it says that you have customer current information and the customer's former information.
Okay.
Asking the question that why is it that customer has moved address? They've moved to a new place. Get a new address for them, address field for them. But you don't delete the old one, you still hold it. Why?
So is it for easy identification?
Well, it could be one, especially when they're new address. So, customer phone is, and you want to satisfy that it's actually the customer, all right?
Yeah.
So that you don't get any strange person coming to access the customer's information. So after giving you the new address, you can tell them, just for security, can you give me your old address too and see whether it's the right person, right?
Yeah.
So that is that. But what else are the reasons why you're keeping both? What else?
I am thinking that looking at the demographics, let's say if the address has changed, someone is staying around Medina, for example, and they move to Southern or my area, and they were patronizing a certain kind of product. Based on that information, you know that maybe the migration would affect the person's behavior, or the person will still be like they were in that area.
Fantastic.
That's what I'm saying.
Fantastic. So that helps in the analysis, all right? Because you want to know whether there has been a change of behavior as a result of what they've moved. Does it actually show that the customer had actually progressed in terms of economic outlook, all right? Now, when you're doing the analysis, if the customer used to live in Medina, has gone to maybe East Legon or Cantonment, certainly the demographic changes also reflect on their economic situation, isn't it?
Yes.
So you can actually bring that perspective in making analysis. So if you're a loan company, all right, or you're a bank, and customer in the past had, let's say a cap on how much they can actually loan from you, as let's say 1,000, because of their demographic location, influencing or describing their income capacity. Now, once the customer moves to that change alone can actually mean an increase in the cap from 1,000 to let's say 5,000. All right. But you probably don't want to do that yet. You want to actually look at whether the move in demographics actually reflect in their income status. So you're looking at 1 month, 2 months, 3 months to see whether their contribution or the wages that they were receiving when they were in Medina is still the same, or there has been an increase in reality while they are in what? Cantonment. And you can do that comparison and make a decision. Are you with me?
Yes.
That's why majority of companies, they can hold customers' old information for a period of 5 years before they do away with it, because they are relevant for marketing analysis. Do you get it? All right. And then, of course, the prospect information. Again, sometimes you want to look at, they are not customers, but they are, let's say, future customers that you are actually, prospecting, or customers that you actually targeting. All right. Now, once you go out for prospecting, they haven't agreed to you yet, but you still keep their information on your record. Why? In fact, the second one that I just explained is actually former customer information, not customers' former information. All right. I think I made a mistake there. I was explaining customers' former information, but former customer. So for former customers, although they are former customers, at one point you can go back to them, to see whether they have changed their minds. Do you get it? Or you may be able to go back to them with a new proposition. Perhaps currently some of the offers that the company has, they're not interested. You may have to, or you may come up with a new proposition that you can still go to them and say, oh, we saw that you've been dealing with that over some period of time, but you don't longer deal with that. I just want to introduce our new product. Maybe that would actually, get them excited and come back. All right. And there's a theory about, what do you call acquisitions, that customers who have actually dealt with a company before are always likely to come back with when the company has the right proposition. You get it? It's just like
Yes, sir.
the theory of Lai Momo, isn't it? Theory of Lai Momo. You know the theory of Lai Momo? Yeah?
Yes. Doc, this theory has you.
What's the theory of Lai Momo? Anas?
Doc, there's a girl song. There's a girl song to it. Should I sing it for you?
Yeah, sing it. Sing it.
Lai Momo in nomination.
Okay, this man, please, we say old firewood burn more than new one.
Yeah, old firewood is able to catch fire. So
Yes,
if you have
now.
some relationship with some girl being a Jan by the 3 years,
Yeah.
who know that your friend pay?
Oh, that's a light.
Exactly.
Or the way who cool, or the way who cool.
Exactly. So that's what
Now see the way who cool.
Yeah. So that's what we're talking about, former customer information. Because they've been former customers before, they know the behavior of the company. Sometimes it was because of the behavior that they left. So you have to tell them that, oh, Mechenjo. I moment say, oh, are you sure? Maybe there's something about you that they liked as well, but they didn't like other things. Once you present to them that you are a changed person, perhaps they're able to come back. You get it? So, yeah, these are some of the things that you want to actually look at. Yeah. Any other points?
That's a dog. So that was some former customer information. Huh?
Yeah, former customers. And then the prospective customers is also about, as I said, the pipeline. When you're developing the pipeline, i.e. when you're actually following certain businesses, you haven't won it yet, but you have to keep the information so that you can keep, going to that customer with the offerings and see maybe one day they will change their mind, right? Orlando, I've sent you some information you can share on your page.
Doc.
Yes.
There's this company. They are called Ticket Dog.
Mm-hmm.
And what they do is that they like provide ticketing for events and if you have some functions and all that. Yes.
Yeah.
And they're able to get like contacts of people who attend maybe shows that they've organized and all that.
Yeah.
So let's say I have a movie that I want to show on at maybe Silverbed.
Yeah.
When I go to them and then I tell them that I want to show this movie at Silverbed, they send messages to maybe contacts that they got from people who went to an Ebo White place some time ago because they provided tickets for that show.
That's right.
So they have people's information from different shows that they've gone to. So maybe if it's like a garden show or something and they worked on it, they have contacts of people who came. So if you are doing a similar thing and then you need their help, they bring those contacts and then they send messages to those people. So what sort of database are they operating?
Yeah, exactly. So they have what you call database of users, right? Users in the sense that these are people that you see, in the first place, they're supposed to have, consent. We call it consent marketing. All right. They're supposed to have in their documentation or contract with this Igbo White and things, and say that when people buy the ticket, can we hold on to your data and sell it to or give it to third party use? All right. And then the person will say yes or no. So usually those consents are actually embedded in the system. Sometimes it is opting out, all right, which means if you don't opt out, you're automatically included, all right. So we have an inclusion or exclusion criteria. So in most cases, those days, even for medical purposes, right? When these organ donation, when you go to hospital, I don't know about Ghana, but in England, when you fill your NHS forms, all right, there's a automatic consent, or what we call automatic opt-in, all right. Whenever you are in England and you access NHS, automatically you're a member of organ donation. So when you die, they can take your heart, they can take your eye, they can take your right. Unless you opt out and say, I don't want my organ to be donated. All right. So in this consent marketing, that's how it works. Sometimes you have to opt out to say that you don't want your contact to be given to third party. All right. Sometimes you have to opt in to say that you don't want your contact to be given to. So depending on the way the consent is structured, that's how come they use the data to actually drive other sales, like your show. Do you get it? So the use of current customer information, because it's the same entertainment they are selling. Yeah. Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, cool. All right. And these days, the schools have started doing, I don't know when you're filling your form, GRJ form, whether you saw it, that they will ask you whether, would you agree that they will pass on your information to another school if you don't get admission? Is that in the GRJ form?
Yeah, don't worry.
You don't remember? Because Legon forms is in it. With the Legon forms, they will ask you whether you would agree for them to give your details to other schools if you don't get admission at Legon. So then Legon will pass on your details to what do you call it? Member schools, like affiliated schools. That is if you opt in to say yes. Of course, if you opt out, then they don't give it up. Yeah.
Doc, then if you say yes and they pass it on, then what? They will just admit you like that or what?
Of course, if they admit you, then they don't pass the details. But if they don't admit you, they will tell other schools that Anas want admission if you want to.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, that's it.
I think GIG, I didn't see anything like that.
Yeah, maybe they haven't activated that type of thing. All right. Any other Anyway. Okay, so marketing databases, customer names and addresses. Okay, like the point that we're making, right? These are the marketing databases. So customer names and addresses, email addresses, record of customers' visit to the firms, customer history, customer survey results if there have been surveys, preferences and profiles, marketing campaign results. You see, so marketing campaign results. So whenever they do a campaign, maybe they send you some offers, all right? Whether you accept the offers or not, or whether you respond to the offers, the system will be taking records of that. To say, oh, this guy, don't bother sending him a leaflet on that campaign because he was not going to respond. Or this guy, he always responds. If it's an email, for example, all right, the click rate, who opens and who doesn't open, is actually shown. Is actually shown on the system. whether the person deletes the campaign whenever they see it, it will show. And some of the campaign systems, when you delete it, the system automatically blocks you, knowing that you don't want. Do you get it? That you have opted out. Some too, they won't block you until the third campaign. So they will do one campaign, and if you delete it, second campaign you delete, third campaign you delete it, then the system automatically stops sending you campaign message. All right. Campaign, I mean promotions. All right. If you're the one who actually opens the email to check the promotion, it means there's a likelihood that one day you buy that, or you actually, kind of accept the promotion. So they keep sending you. All right. And then of course, appended data, coded data. So whenever the company does an activity and you respond, your information is taken, your record is taken. All right. And that is used for further, activities. So all those fields that you see here is what we use for the marketing database, and it's used to follow up. So it could be email addresses. So where you have the email address, it could be text message, phone addresses or email addresses, or it could be physical address like PO boxes, etc. All right. Yeah. Then of course, if it's email, mobile, internet, like you've seen, cost-effective communication. If you're using this electronic means, build relationships, cookies. Cookies. We've explained it before, isn't it? Yeah. So it stores information, personalized website, customized content, as a result of the cookies. All right. Then purchases and communication history. We've discussed all these throughout our conversation. All right. So detailed customer histories, every interaction with a company, determine future communications, assist marketing team, etc. Anyway, any questions or contributions? Yeah. Any questions?
No, the psychographic data is what?
Psychographic data is a lifestyle data. All right, your lifestyle.
Lifestyle. Okay.
Yeah. So the psychography, we usually use what we call, VALS, values, attitudes, and a lifestyle. Now, the values is what you appreciate, what you have, what are your values, all right? And usually companies actually get to know your values based on what you buy and how you buy, all right? And you buy things. And obviously your attitude to product, all right? Whether you have a positive or negative attitude to certain programs, or you remember the inept evoke and then the innate set, all right? Yeah. So these whenever there's a campaign advanced, companies are able to determine with certain questions and certain reactions of yours, they're able to determine what you value most. They're able to determine your attitude towards their product, whether it's negative, positive, and especially sometimes when you put your demographic information, do you get it? And ask you certain questions, they'll be able to determine whether you're conservative or you're liberal. All right. And obviously, somebody is a conservative person, or somebody describes themselves as conservative. All right. Which means that their values are likely to value things of family and things like that. All right. It means that person is most likely to, respond to family related products. All right. Or conservative related products. Things like, religious, things like family, things like, things that are very, very conservative, all right, or traditional, so to speak, or, things that are norms, all right, in the society. And when the person displays more of liberal, it means that they are progressive. It means that they don't normally go according to what everybody is buying, yeah? They have their own taste. They do things their own way, etc. All right. Or if somebody describes themselves as independent, it means that they don't have social restrictions. Like they don't actually buy into social norms. All right. They do things according to their own. So psychographic data gives a lot more of people's personal way of life, yeah, as opposed to the demographic actually gives their descriptive, all right, who they are in terms of their description as male, female, age, this, and that. But psychographic is more of the persona, all right, the person's, other inner characteristics or certain things may not, outwardly show unless they get it. Of course, these are some of the companies that they've put in a list of companies that actually does some of these things. In Ghana, you may say Bismarck and Co. They are type of companies that they run, agencies. Now, geocoding, Bismarck, explain geocoding to them. Bismarck,
Doc,
yeah.
I don't know.
You know geocoding?
No, I don't know.
Who?
But from the, how do you call it? From the word, you can probably split it as it's already there. Adding geographical codes. So if you look at your customers or maybe potential customers, and then you know where they live and all that, their geography, you can segment them and then plan different things for different people. I don't know if it makes sense.
Yeah, you're right. So he's right. Geocoding is, yeah, go on.
So can we consider what we do at the banks as geocoding? When you're going to create an account, sometimes they ask you to draw the map that leads to where you stayed. Can that be considered as geocoding?
Okay, usually geocoding use tags more of that could actually look at the manual way of of it. But usually when we're looking at geocoding, you're looking at the geographical area, all right, and you superimpose certain characteristics on it. Do you get it? So, for example, you look at Adenta, yeah, and maybe you code Adenta as AD, yeah. So AD is the abbreviation for Adenta, right? And then you add, other descriptions to it, all right? So that's what it says, adding geographical code to certain things. So you can actually call a customer who is from Adenta, all right? AD 25. You get it? So you're using the place where the person actually stays, all right? And you're using other, descriptors to it, all right, in order that you could actually. So whoever actually comes from Adenta, any customer that comes from Adenta, all right, is AD1, AD2, AD3, AD in that order, all right. But most of the time, these days we have what do you call digital means of doing that categorization. Do you get it? So you have the tags, the geographical tags. When you take photo, all right, the phone is able to capture the location where you took the photo, all right, and then maybe add the dates that you took the photo on. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Have you seen that? Yeah.
Yes, no.
Yeah. So these are geocoding tags, all right. So the photo actually has this geographical area, and then maybe the date that you took the picture to there. So you can see that if the area is Legon, maybe LG, and then the date is 22nd, so LG 22 something. You get it? That's created a geographical tag or geocoding tag. All right. So there are many ways of capturing the data. You could add the geographical area and the person's name. So you can say ADKM. All right, that is Adenta Kobe Mensa, because there could be another Kobe Mensa who is from Legon. So they may make it LGKM. Do you get it? Yeah. All right. And then you can actually, sometimes they will plot it on a map. And as I said, the map has the geographical, coding for the area. Because the map that actually identifies Adenta may actually code it AD anyway. All right. and then the rest of the codes that is actually added. You do this just to be able to identify customers, and their relationship with where they are coming from, etc. Yeah. So you see that they're combined with demographic, combined with demographic and lifestyle information. So you can actually add AD and then the person's demographic, which is the name, maybe, or the age. So AD, 26, which is maybe 26 years old, etc., etc. You can combine so many ways of. They are all means of identifying your customers, so that you'll be able to, kind of, sieve them out, or pull them out from the system and advance certain, activities towards them. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Doc, with the coding, I just wanted to give an example with our metering system, if that's permissible.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so we have this geocoding system. In Ghana, we have various areas that we operate in. So we have a survey and mapping department.
Yeah.
We map all our areas and give them geographic coding. So when you receive your bill, or if you check on your meters, we are able to identify customers individually, based on the geocoding. So in distributing bills, we know this person stays here, their house is at this point. You will not be going just like that. So we use this kind of things to assess our customers' premises, give them correct services.
Excellent. Okay, good one. Yeah. Who else want to use your company, for example?
Doc, please, is this related to some archiving or that sort?
Yeah. I mean, it's the same terminology. I mean, archiving, system that's being deployed here. You get it? It's like you do in archive, but these are modern times. Modern times, way of, doing things. So it's the same archiving, what do you call process. Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
Yeah. Who else? Who else can give us example at their workplace?
Fifi, in the court. What happens at the court?
Fifi,
the judges.
Yeah. You're in the court. When we come there with our problem, you have to help us. One place that I fear, court. I don't like court. Yeah, Fifi, let's listen to you. Fifi.
Okay. Ellen, WAEC. What happens at WAEC?
Ellen, WAEC, yes.
Sir, I don't know if our coding is joke coding or whatever, but it's like we assign a code to every region. And we assign a code to, let's say, maybe Accra is 01.
Yeah.
Eastern 02, and that's the way it continues to the Upper West.
Yeah.
Now that we have new regions, we don't have offices in those places yet.
Yeah.
We've not given them a code, but even within the region, we still have. So let's say, Kofodia Eastern is 02. So Kofodia will be 02.
But do you add a region to it?
Yes, the region is the 02.
Okay.
So the region is the 02. So maybe 02, 01. That is maybe Kofodia proper.
Yeah.
The region is the 02. Then Kofodia will be 01. So 0201, Kofodia proper.
Yeah.
Maybe in Nkoko will be 0203. That is Nkoko is 3.
Yeah.
And so forth and so on. So that's the way we also give our coding.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, exactly. So that's, you have already coded the demographics, with certain characteristics. So immediately you see the
And then we add, with all these things, we add the school number to it. So we give the schools, just as you say, we add certain things. We add the school number. When it comes to the candidate index number, we add the school number to the region, the school number.
Yeah.
And then the candidate's him or herself number to form the whole index number.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So that's exactly what we're talking about. All right. Anyway, guys, I think we can wrap up. Yeah. Any other? Okay. So
I said, since you didn't explain the fifth element on the tax in database marketing, the fifth one after the data driven marketing communication, the last one I didn't talk about it.
Which one is that?
The first thing that we're discussing.
Yeah. The first one.
Please go up.
Data driven marketing program.
Data driven marketing program, yeah.
Well, it's the same thing. I mean, data driven marketing communication is communication. Data driven marketing program is a program. So assuming that you are the church one that we talked about. So if the church sees that a lot of women are complaining about, or men are complaining about women, making demands during Christmas, what do? During Christmas, you do women's, what do you call women's session, a seminar, isn't it? You organize
a miracle
program around that. So it's just like that. It's just the program, marketing programs. And when we talk about
subject appreciation of husbands,
you can do husband appreciation day. So marketing activity or marketing program that you can organize in response to that. The other one is the marketing communication. The other one is marketing program. And when we talk about marketing program, you're looking, maybe a distribution program. Maybe you've seen a lot of people responding to, a particular distributor. So you can actually change the format of your distribution to suit people's needs, isn't it? If it's about pricing, that people are actually demonstrating or showing certain activity towards it, you maybe change your pricing strategy. You get it? These are marketing programs. All right. Okay, guys, we may have to end here. I'm even exhausted.
Doc.
Yes.
Doc,
please, how have we fed in the assignment?
Oh, the assignment there. I'll go to it for now. I'll go to it maybe very soon.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Doc, do you know that last semester your results, they still not shown it to us, so we don't know whether you have not submitted our marks or they have not showed us our marks. We don't know.
Said it in December.
Oh, then it's the sooner. Okay. They not don't want to show us. Okay.
Yeah, I submitted it. How many of the results that are not out?
2 of them.
That's mine and somebody's.
Yours and Dr.
Sando. Oh, really?
But what could be the reason?
I can't even tell. I submitted it long ago. But anyway, to hold you in suspense. All right, guys. I'll be here till 9 o'clock because I'm doing Joy FM, the PM Express. I said I've
posted it on the page.
Yeah, I said I've stopped media commentary, but they keep chasing. So
Doc, you're calling.
These politicians, they chase you. But anyway, let's see how it goes. All right, thanks, guys. So we'll meet next week.
Okay, good.
Doc, please send the video that you've recorded and please send it to us so we can send it to our colleagues who couldn't join.
Yeah, I know, but it looks like the video is big, so it may be difficult to send it to. But I'll send it. I may have to send it to email.
I'll text
How
you.
about compression?
You can send it to me via WeTransfer.
Yeah, maybe I'll send it via transfer. All right.
When you send it to me via WeTransfer, I can compress it and send it to you.
Okay, so send me your email address. WhatsApp. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you too, sir.
All right.
You're invited to my fufu table.
Fufu table, eh? Hey,
yes.
Corona is real.
By this time,
My husband has sumptuously laid some
hey, no side chick in this.
I like it. Yeah,
when he's asking for things in December, keep quiet and take it.
And when he's asking, when he's saying go, then you go.
Alas.
They jealous you.
Alas, I'm going to look for a husband who cooks.
Hey.
In fact, the table, the aroma that is entering my
this be the exact photocopy of me.
Share the video now.